The video you're about to see contains foul language. It depicts the changing of a radiator in a supercharged Jaguar XJ 350. If your Jaguar requires a new radiator, consider taking it to a professional mechanic. Viewer discretion is advised.
Right, I'm pulling the radiator out hopefully today. Step one, move the splash shield out of the way. That's the result of that. Broken fog lamp. I don't know what's happened to that, but looks like it's got very, very hot and the plastic's actually melted and it's just fell off. These Stu tells me they're called spire nuts. So what I've done is I've just ground them off with an angle grinder, trying to avoid getting the plastic too hot, because obviously it all melts and becomes a tangled mess. Anyway, so I'm going to quickly whip that fog light off that side and glue that back together. Then I'm going to carry on removing the radiator, and I've got the guide here. So remove the splash shield. For additional information, refer to angle grinder. Out the way for a minute. And there was a couple of screws here I undid about 3 fucking weeks ago. I started doing this. The pump, the auxiliary pump, shit, it's still stuck on those pluggy things. Come on out, you fucker. What is that now? It's stuck there. Oh, Jesus. What is that? For fuck's sake, man. Back in you go. Ah.
You got to work hard and pull out of your. To get shit done, to be one. Keep that held up, don't ever stop.
There's 2 of them? Why would there
Take
need
it
to
time
be
so
2?
much. Try and push.
Why? I mean, it's like, one's enough, mate. You've got to fucking. It's all just stiff as fuck. 3 fucking hooks, man. They're all like within an inch of each other. Why is that even necessary? So we put a short clip in now. Make sure it's at least 1 inch long. Like the book says that the engine oil cooler has got to be removed. And then it says disconnect the water pump pipes, and then it says unscrew that screw. Session 2, I'm going to say, removing and replacing the radiator. Now, I got a bit frustrated with it last time because it's incredibly tight in there. There is an overwhelmingly large amount of fixings holding this set of radiators together. Well, I say overwhelmingly. There's not that many, but they're in very difficult to reach positions. There's a pump on this side, which I believe is the water pump for the supercharger. The air conditioning pipe for the condenser comes round here, and it goes right up tight to the radiator there, and then below that is the pipe for the, is it the inlet pipe? I think it is, for the radiator there. So I think, I mean, that goes to a flexi line, which would allow a small amount of movement, enough to wriggle the radiator past that if I disconnect the air conditioning pipe on that side. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'll try and get it out beforehand, but I think that's ultimately I'm going to have to degas the air conditioning, which is another 90 quid or more to refill, so it's more expense, but there we are. The only bolt holding this radiator in position now I can see is, okay, you see that like orange spot? There you go, the magnet sticks right on it there. I'm afraid it's not going to focus. Allow me to introduce my associate, Mr. Green.
Hi.
Mr. Jeffington. Jefferson Airplane. Now, I've got my microphone on, and he's got his Jeffrophone on. So you should be able to hear us both at the same time, but quite clearly. Things have escalated a bit. Jeff's given me a hand. So basically, I did disconnect the AC in the end, which allowed a little bit of wriggle room. I also managed to undo that bolt, which was plaguing me really badly. I've undone that engine oil cooler just to allow a little bit of movement in that pipe down there. This side, the pipe is sort of bonded onto the cooler, it won't come off, even though I've undone the bolt for it, and unfortunately that fixing has sheared, so I will have to zip tie that back into position. Now, we've had a bit of a chat about this, and I've asked Jeff to come and help me get the bumper skin off. And Jeff has said, well, why don't you just take this crash bar off as well, because it will enable a little bit more access. So we're going to do that as well. So the first thing to do is, it's held here. 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth one which holds this brace. So that's the next thing to do. Jeff helped me get the bumper off. The crash bar also has come off. It's fixed with 4 bolts here. Some of these bolts, a couple at the bottom, hold this brace in place, which goes in from the bottom. There's 2 rivets each side which needed drilling out. Jeff did that for me. Cheers, Jeff. Then I've took the headlights off, and I'm about to pull this headlight support bracket thing out. One of the bolts did break. Oh shit, look at that. The washer bottle's held up on there. Shit, I didn't see that. a lot of work. This is an enormous amount of work. A very sort of strenuous, stressful job. And I've got to be honest, I wish I'd have fucking left the radiator where it was and just sort of sod it. But when I'm going on long journeys, I don't like to, can't enjoy myself or relax. If there's any doubt, the vehicle I'm in is going to let me down. I fucking hate it. Can't enjoy. Right, so that's numerous nuts and bolts each side. You'll find them if you ever need to take them out. Now that means that essentially that whole radiator thing can come out now, pretty much. And then I can reassemble it off the car and put it back in one piece, all tightly bolted together, everything in the right place. Next thing to do is take that to air conditioning condenser. You can see the crud that are built up around the radiator, and that's the reason why that's happened is because underneath the radiator there's a panel that is there to, I suppose it's there to sort of channel air directly through all the radiators, and this one's at the back. So this area, you can see, was completely, it was, you know, there's only a small gap, maybe an inch between that one and the radiator in front of it, and that was completely full of leaf matter and just basically dust. I don't even know what that is. It's like a combination of organic matter, just perhaps it's just like road dirt, like tyre dust, and I don't even know what else, but I would imagine that that eventually could cause an overheating problem, because, you know, obviously you're getting no airflow at all through there. You can see if I just go in close, it's pretty much blocked up. I would suggest that that could in time build up to the point where, without being cleaned out, it's gonna cause major problems. Here, this is the supercharger cooler. This is the front face, and then you can see the air conditioning condenser has got some build up as well.